frustrating, huh?
Hello everyone, Seskinator11 here, and this is my Resident Evil 4 Professional Difficulty No Damage OSP New Game Run. And this is the final part in this sequence of videos. So we are starting off this video with the beloved Krauser Fight. And I thought I was going to really struggle in this fight, guys, but it turns out that you can use the knife for the entire portion of the fight, which is amazing. And that just goes to show that this game is very well balanced and you can use a wide array of tools to your disposal, and methods as well. So you're going to see here that I have no magnum ammo, I have very limited shotgun ammo, and I have very limited handgun ammo. But that's not going to matter, folks. And this is me, by the way, just looking at the map and seeing what sections I have left. There's about 2 more gauntlets after this, after the Krauser Fight. There's the helicopter support section, and then there's the final gauntlet, which is where you have to insert the keycard and activate the lock mechanism for that final door. So what you're going to see me do here is I'm going to run forward, I'm going to trigger the fight. Krauser's going to be starting to fire explosive bolts at us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait behind here safely. And he's not going to be able to hit us from here, folks, which is a huge benefit. And then once he's done firing, I'm going to run forward. And luckily I was able to run farther enough away so that way the grenade would not be able to hit me. And what you're going to do is position yourself behind this door. And this is a very common technique that is very well known. Because what we're going to do is we're going to knife him just as he opens the door. And all he needs is 3 knife slashes, folks. And then he throws his flash grenade and we're safe to move on. The magnum ammo is very useful here. So we're going to keep collecting that. There's actually a good amount of magnum ammo in this arena. So keep picking it up, no matter what. So I'm just taking my time, seeing what ammo I can pick up, and we're going to move right on forward. So you're going to see a wonderful transition there, and that's because the checkpoint begins right after you open up that door. And unfortunately I was not able to blend it very well, so instead I used a transition effect. And what I do is I make sure Krauser comes out, and I hit him with 2 knife slashes that time, and he was able to run away. So in this section right here, all I do is I run forward, and he's going to chuck grenades at us, which I'm going to dodge. And he's going to pull out the TMP and try to hit us with bullets, but luckily we're just going to keep pressing on, so that way we get the next checkpoint. Now what he's going to do typically is he's going to jump up onto this ledge and chuck grenades at us. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just wait patiently down here while I hit the quick time events to dodge. Now he just dropped down, so now I'm going to knife him from behind this pillar. He jumps back up again, and he's probably going to... oh, he's going to do his wonderful taunting. So I respond back. I always like responding back. I actually don't know what happens if you don't respond back. It's one of those wonderful features of the game that you don't really know unless you try. So, but I always like responding back to him. I like taunting him back. So, which Leon's taunts are not very, aggressive. But I guess it's to show that he's very calm and cool, and that he could take out Krauser whenever he pleases. So I knife him to the face, and that's it, folks. Pretty simple, right? I really thought it would be more complicated than this, but it wasn't. So now we're going to do a little puzzle here with the statues. We're going to move them accordingly. And there's a cheeky speedrunning strat to do this way faster than it really is. I think the guy glitches the rock through the brick wall here, which is very interesting. But I don't have the skills to do something like that. So instead I'm just going to move it as normal. So that reveals the lever we have to use to open up the next area, and that's where the checkpoint is, folks. So what I do now is I run down. I'm heading towards this area here, and usually Krauser is hidden behind one of these walls. See right there, you can see his shadow, and I'm pulling out the knife to get ready. And he does his quick time event sequence right there. And I think one more knife slash does the trick. And that's it. Again, it doesn't seem too complicated when you look at it, right, folks? And I'm pleased to say that was a first attempt on my part. So it's not too bad. The attempt started when I had to fight him on his final phase, when he reveals his wonderful creature-like arm on the roof. And that's where I had to restart a few times. And what's interesting is that on the Godfather Dictator's stream, he was watching the world record speedrun of this game. And what was interesting is that in the speedrun, the guy dies twice, I believe, to Krauser on the rooftop, which it's unheard of, right? Like a speedrunner failing like that and still being able to get the world record. You wouldn't think of something like that happening, so it's just incredible. Like, I'm glad though that there's still human error even in a speedrun. Because people who can do speed runs, they're ballers. They're like robots, man. They know the game left and right, backwards, forwards. They need to know all the mechanics in a game to be able to speedrun it effectively. Any little technique, any little thing that could help push them forward and be the most efficient route from one area to the next. And here's me responding to Krauser again, because I like responding. Now, this section is a little tricky. What I usually do is I turn around immediately and I run away. And I kill this guy, the robot on the bottom. And I wait because I believe the robots that are flying outside are typically going to explode. But for whatever reason, I didn't see them there, so I just kept progressing on. And that way I'll get a checkpoint up on the final roof area here. And this is where you're going to face final phase of Krauser. And again, it all seems very complicated, doesn't it? But it's really not too bad. It's pretty simple, actually. Especially with the knife. And one would think that the knife wouldn't be able to kill Krauser, but it totally does. And this was not too easy, by the way. This took a couple attempts on my part. I thought this was a little hard for me, but luckily I was able to time him perfectly so that way his kicks wouldn't hit me and his blade arm would not pierce me. So look at how much time we have to spare on that one, folks. Like 2 hours 2 minutes and 40 seconds left, and he's dead. And that's why speedrunners use the knife as well, because it's just the fastest way to deal with him. You'd think the Magnum or something more powerful would be, but it's not. It's the knife. All speedrunners use the knife. So it's very fascinating. So now Krauser is behind us. The only thing remaining now is the dreaded helicopter section, which is probably one of the worst parts in the game, in my opinion. I do not like that section at all. I think it should be deleted. It's probably one of the only parts in this game that should be deleted. It's not fun. And you'll see why, because there's a checkpoint at the very end when you finish the helicopter section that's probably one of the longest checkpoints in the game. And it's all because the door closes behind you and you're not able to manipulate the checkpoint. So keep that in mind, folks. It's very important. But yeah, we're putting the pieces in and we're moving onward. And yeah, folks, I'm very upset to say that, it goes with no surprise that my motherboard did not arrive yesterday. It's still sitting in Hong Kong, and they're holding it there until it's able to get on the next flight out with all the other shipments that they need to make. So we'll see what happens. We'll see when I get it. I hope it comes within the next week or so, because I really want to be able to build my new PC and play on that next, because I'm so excited. And whenever I do play a game on PS4 or on a Sony console, I'm still going to try to keep my trophy list clean and go for all the trophies and go for all, all that needs to be done. Because I do want to keep my Sony account clean. And it's just one of my goals, it's one of my passion projects that I love, is trophy hunting. Because I've been doing it ever since it released in, back when did RE5 come out? I think that was the first game that I got the platinum for, which was Resident Evil 5. And that was that was a long time ago. I think that was probably in about 2008 or 2009, one of those. I know I was in college when it released, and I know I played it during the summer. So, but yeah, that was the first time I got introduced to trophies, and I know my friend Omni Griffin, who I keep talking about throughout this run, because I sure hope he's watching this right now. I hope he's getting a kick out of my run right now. He was the one who got me into trophies, honestly. If he hadn't have pointed those out, I would have just thought they were just some weird notification popping up on the screen. But he's like, and I'm calling myself by my screen name, of course, but he's like, Sisk, you gotta do the trophies, man. You gotta get all of them and get 100% in the game, or else you're not cool. Of course he didn't say it like that. I'm just making this up. But that's basically what he did to try to encourage me. So, we like to tease each other. We like to poke fun at each other. It's part of being friends, and it's part of the friendship that we have, and I enjoy it. He's like a second brother to me, Omni Griffin, so I really do enjoy hanging out with him, and how eventually we're going to be PC mates coming up, so I hope to play a lot of games with him in the future. So yeah, you'll see me run back and drop another save, because I did not want to wait over there for the helicopter to destroy that gun again, because I just didn't have the patience, folks. So yeah, what I do here is I go up the ladder, because I'm not going to wait for the helicopter to destroy the next gun. It just takes way too long, and for whatever reason he's got his head up his ass. So instead I just move forward, and I'm making sure that the guys don't climb up the ladder to my left, and I'm keeping this guy stunned by shooting him in the head and knifing him on the ground. And you should be safe if you do this, folks. And what's also great is that when the guys fall from the ladder, they take damage on the fall, which is a wonderful mechanic of this game. And I adore it. And I'm a little upset to say, guys, that this is the last video that's being uploaded, and the last one I'm going to be commentating for Resident Evil 4, at least for this run. I'm still not sure if I'm going to go back and do separate ways, no damage or not, or maybe upload some Mercenaries videos, but we'll see. We'll see how I feel, because I know I want to take a little break from challenge runs after this, until the next game catches my eye that I would like to upload, so we'll see what happens. I really do hope, though, that when I do upload the next game, it's going to be from my PC, and not from my PS4. But no promises there, because I don't know when that motherboard's going to come, or if the whole thing is even going to work. So we'll just see. Open mind right now. So this lock takes a beating. Takes a lot of knife slashes to get through, but what I do is I push on, making sure no one's going to hit me from behind. And I run directly into this pathway right here. And be careful when turning this corner, because a guy with a shield is going to try to intercept us. So what I do is I brush past that guy and go up the ladder. And luckily the gun can't reach us from here. You can hear it firing, but it's not going to reach us. And this is a pretty good position right now, because I'm able to shotgun the guys to the far end of this, and also shotgun the guys that are coming up the ladder in front of me. So I think on this shotgun blast I run up the ladder if I'm not mistaken. And I don't. Sesk, what are you doing? Run up to the ladder. Get up there. I guess I want to kill everybody, so... This is like my Resident Evil 3 Inferno run again. Where I kill everything in the sewers instead of running by without any more loss of ammo or resources. But yeah. 'Tis games, and they're hilarious, aren't they? This is me trying to kill this guy, but for whatever reason he's not interested in me. So what I do is I drop down here and go underneath and I activate the switch. And what that is going to do is that's going to give us another checkpoint, because our helicopter friend up there is not doing jack shit. And I think his name is Mike, so Mike, what the hell are you doing? You know, you gotta frickin' kill those guys and stop flying around picking your bumhole. But anyway, that's gonna spawn in the Gatling gun dude. And what I do is I run by this wall over here to shield me from his bullets. And I fend off the dudes that are approaching us. So yeah, I knock them down, and I think what I do is I pistol this guy in the shin, and he falls, and I go for it. And I'm waiting up here for a second because I don't want to be hit by any bullets. And what I do is I kick this dude in the face, which is very fun. And I believe I equipped my Magnum and I just kill this dude. But I believe what you can do instead, that's much better, and you can save more ammo, is instead of using Magnum ammo and a grenade, I think you can run past them and activate that switch. Because what that will do is that will put a checkpoint between you and the next area. And that will begin the longest checkpoint probably in the game, in my opinion. And especially one that you cannot manipulate. And that's where you have to take down 3 Gatling gun dudes, the big machine gun dudes, not this this guy in front of me right here, but the 3 guys behind machine guns, and you have to take down 3 of them, and also hit 2 switches to open the door. And this upcoming part, is going to take a ton of patience, folks. It took me a long time to get it as well. A long time. So be sure you have the patience. And pick up the hand grenades, pick up anything that you need. You will need hand grenades for the strategy that you're going to see in the upcoming section, because it's one of the ways that you'll have to kill the guy behind one of the machine guns. And this is me being careful because there's a dude with a crossbow. So what I do is I try to put him down. And I really should have just saved my ammo and hit the switch, because that would have given me a checkpoint. But alas, please learn from my mistakes, folks, if you ever decide to do a run like this. So yeah, this is where the checkpoint is, guys, and you'll see that there's no enemies in the way, and that's because I died many times during this upcoming section. So what you're going to do is you're going to run straight for this ladder over here. And the way to do that is, as soon as you run through the opening in the door, you have to immediately veer towards the left. And that will give you a little bit of an advantage with the timing and not be hit by the bullets. And I think that guy had green camouflage markings on him. The guy behind me who's still alive. He does! So he's going Rambo paint on us right now, which I find very funny. But now he's got no face, and he's just a bloody stump of a head. So this is the area where you're going to try to hang out for a while. And what I do is I go to the other end here and I wait. That guy with the dynamite is not going to come up, and he's going to be able to help us and kill guys trying to climb up the ladder. Again, the dynamite people are your friend. And there's a dude over here that has an RPG. So I take him down with the shotgun, and I'm waiting right here. The dynamite dude is doing us a lot of favors right now, and he's killing his comrades that are coming up the ladder right now. So far this is looking great. But yeah, folks, it takes a lot of patience to do this part. And there might be a faster way to do this, I'm sure. But this was definitely one of the most careful ways to do it. In my opinion, of course. So keep that in mind. That guy did not fall down the ladder like he was supposed to, which was pretty frustrating. So I run back over here so that way I have cover from the other machine gun. And I believe I knifed this guy, so there you go. And what does Sesk do now? What is he doing? Yes, I'm referring to myself in the third person for whatever reason. This is past Sesk talking right now, and or playing right now, I should say. And right now, future Sesk is talking to him. So, yeah, I think I'm being patient right now and waiting for any more enemies to spawn. I have no shotgun ammo. I have a good amount of handgun bullets, and I've got 3 Magnum rounds. I'm still waiting for guys to come up the ladder, I think, and that's the reason for me waiting over here. Ah, because of that. I knew there was another dynamite guy coming in. That's why I was waiting back here. So I think his dynamite killed himself. So I'm checking, and then I'm going back to the corner. But yeah, folks, you can see here it just takes a lot of patience, and I could have probably been more aggressive, but we are going for no damage, and our weapons don't do really much at all. So keep that in mind. So still waiting. Still waiting. Waiting away. I think I eventually go for it. I'm trying to position myself right now so that way I don't get hit by the bullets, and I'm able to get a magnum shot to this guy's head by using the third person shooter trick. And for whatever reason those 2 magnum shots didn't hit his dome, and I think it's because I was behind the wall and it wasn't registering properly. But yet my handgun was able to hit him. So now he's down. And what happens is when that machine gun goes down, that guy, the one behind him is going to start firing at us. As you can hear right now. So this is where I start to panic a little bit, and I'm like, what's going to happen? And lo and behold, another guy comes and tries to intercept us. So I stay behind here, so I'm safe. And I take this guy out now that is derping on the side of the wall there. The tracking was a little off, definitely. So now he's dead. And yeah, folks, this section just requires the most patience out of all the sections. Probably more so than the U3 boss fight. And that's a shit ton of patience, by the way. So, be prepared. That's my biggest recommendation. But yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do next, folks. I keep thinking about it, and I think my challenge run is going to be just building my PC. It's not going to be recorded, so nobody will believe it. But, yeah, I think that's going to be my next one. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, we're nearing the end of May right now, and I feel like COVID-19 is... The situation in Illinois, at least, is starting to improve just a little bit, and I think we're going to enter phase 2 of Governor Pritzker's plan. So we'll see what things will open slowly, and how the public is going to deal with that. because these times are certainly very strange. But even with things slowly opening, I'll still be doing my video counseling sessions just to be safe. And until my office does open for a little bit and we develop a routine so that way everybody can remain safe who comes to get therapy. So we'll see what happens until then. There are so many things up in the air. But a lot of things that I talk about in my sessions are this concept of anticipatory grief, where it's very hard to predict what's going to happen in the future and what we're going to lose or what things are going to be different than what we're used to. And that's one of the biggest changes for now, folks, is that we don't know what's going to happen, we don't know what things are going to look like, and we're expecting that with this virus that's going on, we believe that, you know, it's gonna, once it's conquered, everything's gonna go back to normal, but that may not be the case, and it's very unfortunate, it's very scary. And what you're gonna see here is our helicopter compadre is starting to finally be of use and kill this dude on the gun. So now there's only one more guy in the gun left, and that was very close right there. He started to fire at me with his machine gun over there at the wall, but luckily I moved out of the way. And this is me checking for any enemies that come to spawn, but you'll see eventually where all those enemies are. It's pretty hysterical where they go. It's pretty freaking hilarious. But yeah, you can see there that the final gun is over there. And what I do is I throw a grenade at him. And I believe it takes about 2 grenades. And if you heard that, that's him dying. So now we're clear to go for the 2 switches on the end of the doors. And you'll hear that the music also kind of died down as well. But over there, a guy just dropped down. Luckily, he doesn't have a crossbow to fire at us from the distance. So I'm like, what the hell do I do at this moment? And I'm kind of looking around and I decide, alright, I'm just going to go for the switch. Because there's the other 2 guys derping up there. For whatever reason that they're colliding in with the geometry and they're not able to path their way through. And typically they would drop down and start to cause a nuisance for us, but they're not. So it was actually in my favor and an unintentional thing that just happened just then. So very fortunate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run forward. That closes the door. The guys are still derping up there, as you can see. I go for switch number 1. And I believe I try to intercept the guy that's coming our way. Who doesn't seem to be coming our way, for whatever reason. Very interesting indeed. So here's the guy. Luckily he dropped down over there. And I believe I'm trying to make sure that he climbs up the ladder so I can knife him to death. And there he is. Just as planned. So you'll be safe if you stay up here and knife him. But yeah, this is the longest checkpoint in the game, as I said before, folks, and it's because I was being very careful, extremely cautious, because I didn't know what was going to happen. So I felt it was best to do that. But yeah, folks, I'm wondering if you're going to be inspired to do a run like this, because I highly recommend it. It's something that, you know, allows you to get out of your comfort zone and play the game in a new way that maybe you haven't done before. It certainly made me play the game a new way. So that dude dropped down below me, and luckily I was able to climb up past him in the ladder. So I believe what I do is I wait to see if he climbs up the ladder or not. And I don't know what's going to happen now, actually. But be sure to take the magnum ammo there where the guy died on the gun. And that's the final switch to open up the door. So there's the guy over there. He sees me. He's got a dynamite, so he's gonna come up. And this was very nerve-wracking right now. This was a butt-clenching moment. So right now I'm like, what the hell is he gonna do? Where do I go? And are those two guys gonna drop down, or are they gonna stay up there derped? So what I do is I take care of this guy, and luckily he exploded. So very much a close call. And that would have ruined my run, and I would have had to start the checkpoint all over again. Can you imagine that? Jeez. Absolutely crazy. So now we are pressing on. In this area, you don't have to worry about any enemies. This is just purely exposition. And what I didn't notice actually just now is, you know how Krauser cuts Leon's face with a knife? I forgot that cut shows up later on. The continuity in this game was pretty good at the time. And I don't know if it showed that in the original version or not, or just the remakes. And by remakes I mean remasters, because this is technically a remaster. So anyway, folks, the smoke at the end over there is the dude in the helicopter whose name I can't remember. I feel like it was Mike, but I could be wrong. So he got shot down by one of the RPG men from Sadler. And it's quite unfortunate because he did such an amazing job of covering us by taking his sweet-ass time and doing a ton of laps around in the area. So, thanks to you, Mike. Salute to you. Hats off to you, brother, for doing that for us. But anyway, I digress, and we move on. But now if you made it this far in this run, folks, this is going to be the last tricky area of the game. Because all you have after that is a couple enemies standing between you and where you remove the parasite with you and Ashley, and then the Sadler boss fight. And then you're done. So we made it past this area, we made it to here, and the next area right now is going to have a regenerator in it, and I believe there's actually one or two of them. But it's really no need to be concerned because we can immediately run past them. And I'm not sure, I didn't stick around long enough to check if there was any ammo in the cells. There might be, but it's worth not going for them because the regenerators take so much damage. And I don't know if there's an effective way of kiting them. You might be able to kite them around the desk here, but I didn't do that. I didn't try that, and I didn't plan on trying that. So if you're feeling more adventurous than I am, I would recommend going for it, because you might be rewarded. But yeah, folks, this is me just picking up some ammo, looking around, seeing what I can find. Unfortunately, there's only a yellow herb back here. There's no ammo back here. And I drop a quick save right here before we progress on. So yeah, folks, currently I'm trying to think of new projects, as I've been saying earlier on in the video, and I'm having a difficult time. However, the only PlayStation 4 game that I have on my backlog that I do own right now is Super Meat Boy. And you can imagine how reluctant I am to start that game, because that game is hard as all hell. So if you're familiar with it, it's a platformer, and it's a platformer like none other. It is one of the most challenging platformers ever, and one of the most difficult platinums to obtain or earn, because what you have to do is you have to play each world, which probably has about 10 to 15 levels in it, and you have to complete those 10 to 15 levels without dying at all. On average, you die about 100 times per level on the first attempt. And it's a little easier if you know exactly where to go, but still, a lot of shit can go down, and you can mess up, you can lose your cool, and you have to do it for about 15 levels straight, which is insane. So I'm a little reluctant to play that right now, and I want to continue playing the enjoyable games that I'm doing, and currently I'm playing Borderlands, the pre-sequel, with a lot of members of Chris Seraphim 17's community, and I'm really enjoying my time with them doing that. We actually went and started Borderlands 1, and platinumed that, and also platinumed Borderlands 2. So naturally we went to the pre-sequel, which isn't as strong of a game, in my opinion, as Borderlands 2, because Borderlands 2 really goes above and beyond in terms of story, in terms of gameplay, and all the mechanics that you can have in a game like that, and it was so much fun. Pre-sequel was a bit weaker, it introduced new mechanics, and I believe there was a different team working on it. I believe it was 2K Austria that was working on it, so that may have played a factor in that, as to why it wasn't as strong as a game as Borderlands 2. But I still recommend picking up the Handsome Collection if you're able to. It's a lot of fun, and if you want to start with Borderlands 1, where it all began, that has also been remastered for the PS4. So definitely pick those games up. They're a lot of fun. And then the other game that I'm playing for fun is Diablo 3 with my IRL friend, and that is so much fun. I'm really enjoying that game. And right now what I'm doing is I have 2 saves in that game, and I'm playing the hardcore mode right now, which is part of the requirements for the platinum. And in order to get the platinum, you have to beat basically the story mode for hardcore, and then you have to get up to level 70, which on console right now on the PS4, because there's so much DLC, because you can get so many useful items early on in the game, leveling up is actually not too bad. But I was able to make it to Act 3 of 5 to get to the end of the story, and the story has 5 acts total right now. So you fight Diablo at the end of Act 4, and then you fight a different boss. I think it's equivalent to the Grim Reaper at the end of Act 5. But I haven't played Act 5 yet. I'm going to wait until I complete it with my friend first, before I move on to that for hardcore. So once I get to the beginning of Act 5 after beating Diablo, and hopefully I do beat Diablo without dying, because hardcore mode is a permadeath difficulty, effectively. And if your character dies, you're not able to resurrect and continue playing. You have to create a new character and start from the beginning. And it's a little bit nerve-wracking, but since I'm playing with the Witch Doctor is a good ranged character, and you're able to spawn these zombie dogs to help you, and a zombie giant, or something like that. Whatever the proper term is called, I completely forgot. But it allows you to stay back and basically spam attacks on the enemies that you encounter, and you don't have to fight them head on, and it's not too bad. So, and yeah, those are basically the only games I have, apart from the list of free PlayStation Plus games that I own. And I'm not going to count those as on my backlog, because I'm not obligated to play those games, because some of them I'm just not interested in, and others I may pick up and try. Like the new Hitman games were on PlayStation Plus. I think the very first one, and the complete first season is available, so I might go back and check that one out as well. And a couple Sonic the Hedgehog games were included there too, like Sonic Mania, and that looks amazing, because I really adored the Sonic games growing up on Sega Genesis, so Sonic Mania is right up my alley. They also put Sonic Forces in there, which is similar to how Sonic Generations was in terms of the new gameplay and how they introduced the 3D mechanics. So I might check that one out too. But yeah, folks, there are just so many games out there to play, and you just got to manage your time wisely. And see what you can do, prioritize whatever games that you're most interested in, play, because when you have a full-time job like myself as a counselor and also, husband and doggy daddy, things can get pretty busy very fast. So, when you have some downtime, when you have some free time, that's generally when I play the games. The video games, as they say. So, but yeah, everybody has their hobbies. That's the thing, folks. Everybody has their own specific set of hobbies, and what's interesting is that there's that argument that so many people watch Netflix, and that is socially appropriate to watch hours and hours of Netflix in one sitting, and yet people look down upon playing video games for hours and hours on end. And don't get me wrong, folks. I can't just sit and play video games all day. That's just something I can't do. I need to get up and do something else every once in a while. Usually I'll do like a, at most 2, maybe 3 hour sitting at most. But that's on a weekend, and that's when, things aren't happening and not so much is going on. So I generally can't play longer than that because I get a little antsy. I get a little restless. So, but again, that's my opinion, and everybody else has a different experience. But the point is that there's this huge argument that playing video games is terrible for your health. Playing video games is so frowned upon. Oh, it's terrible. It's a bad life to be. But actually, there's a lot of benefits to it if managed wisely, and one of those benefits is being able to think critically about certain situations and find different paths and find different ways to achieve a goal. And even though these video games can be violent, of course, like I'm not denying that Resident Evil 4 is a very violent game. Don't get me wrong, but the difference is that we know that it's fake. We're not killing people. We're not going out and hurting other people by playing this game. And that's what a lot of parents think, is that video games turn kids into violent kids, and there's no way to get over that. Well, there's an argument against that as well. So it's basically about time management, and doing too much, doing an activity like this for too long is never good, and that can be applied to everything. That can be applied to watching Netflix for too long until the message pops up on the screen saying, "Oh, are you still watching Netflix?" And what was really funny is that during the quarantine, they actually removed that message. They removed it during the month of April, if I remember correctly, for all the states in the United States, and I think for other countries as well. And I find that so funny, because there's nothing like that for video games. I know you can stream video games on certain platforms like PlayStation Now and stuff like that, but how funny would it be if they implemented that message as well? It just wouldn't work. It wouldn't be the same thing. Because you're not just watching something, you're playing it, and you have to have the ability to pause. Also, that was a very close stun right there. That guy, luckily, I was within the iframes of the ladder coming up, so the guy didn't shock me, and that was very close. But yeah, you'll see here that the machine gun dude is firing away at the wall, and he's not able to kill us. So that's a very big plus right now. And I did manipulate the checkpoint a bunch of times in this area, folks, and that's, again, plainly because I didn't want to repeat certain sections over and over again. There are players out there with recorded runs who have done it without the checkpoint manipulation, and props to them for doing that, but I just simply don't have the patience. So this is the way I handled it. But yeah, I decided to kill this guy even though it's a complete waste of ammo. In fact, actually, I don't believe I do kill him. Now that I'm watching this footage over again. No, I do not kill this guy. So don't waste your magnum ammo, instead just use another flash grenade. Honestly, because you're gonna just waste precious magnum ammo that could be used on the Sadler boss encounter. So I believe this guy with the red bandana is going to have the key card that we need. And that will allow us to open up the locks and then be able to open the door that allows us to get out of this area and progress onward. So yeah, there it is, the emergency lock key card. And I'm going to jump down here, and I believe I just run all the way back and drop another checkpoint manipulation. And yes, that's exactly what I'm doing, because I didn't want to have to deal with this, folks, and I think this was a big mistake, because I believe the damage resets on the big guy with the minigun. So maybe do this a different way than I am doing in the future, folks. But yeah, folks, honestly, if video games is something that you enjoy, be sure to enjoy it. You know, there's going to be a lot of people talking against it. But also make time to, exercise, which will also make you feel really good. Make time to, spend time with your loved ones, spend time with significant others, whoever it may be. Because the people interactions in person as well, which I know is, it's a big complication these days because of COVID-19 and being able to spend time with people and staying 6 feet away. But having those interactions with others, if you're living with somebody, living with roommates, living with a significant other, living with your family members, be sure to spend time with them as well, because it's very important to get that diversity. So, alright, I go for the first switch. I again put this guy on the ground with my shot to the knee. Now there's two guys doing a disco dance over here in unison. They're doing the cha-cha slide part 2, and they're taking one step left, y'all. 2 hops this time. And now I hit the other switch and we're gonna go back down. And what you're going to do is you're going to run down this way, and luckily in one of my other attempts the minigun guy killed me and shot me and I took damage, so I had to reset. But the checkpoint is actually before you enter this door, which is why you saw the transition just then, folks. And that's because I got hit by one of the shield guys because I didn't have enough shotgun ammo to deal with them. So what I did was I ran to the cabinet, I got the shotgun ammo, and I kick open the door on one of them so that way they can get stunned. And what I do is I run right past this guy and activate the switch to open the door, and we're through. We have now recovered Ashley, and now we're going to go remove the parasite from our bodies. And what's really cool about that section, folks, where we confront Sadler, is you get to actually fight Sadler as Ada in separate ways. And I love that about the side story for Ada. That's so much fun when you get to do that. And Sadler's not very easy either. He's a tank in that, and he can move really fast. But I did hear of some knife tech strategies that you would be able to defeat him with. And I think it's whenever he gets to the bottom of the stairs, you can basically lock him in that knife animation and be able to kill him effectively. But again, folks, I never tried it myself, so you have to look up some other YouTube videos on that. And maybe, just maybe, I might revisit this game again and do a separate ways no damage. Who knows? But I definitely will take a break for now, because I just want to enjoy the games that I'm playing right now, which are Borderlands pre-sequel and Diablo 3. And then I believe Last of Us Part 2 is on the horizon finally, after all the major spoilers that have happened recently. So, yeah, be careful of that too, folks, is that there's a lot of spoilers out for Last of Us 2, so be sure not to, get yourself in a YouTube hole and watch those. And what's really funny just then is that after I saved here, I didn't expect these guys to still be alive and come after me. But they did. So be very careful of that, and be sure to just run out of the room and on the opposite side and run up the stairs to get out. Otherwise those guys will attack you and you'll take needless damage. So this is the note saying that talking about their final mission. This is my final mission. But yeah. Their final mission to take over the world and kill the president and use the Las Plagas to annihilate all that stand in their path. It's a very generic, evildoers mission. So you'll see here, folks, that I have a total of 1 handgun bullet, I have 2 magnum rounds, and I have a few shotgun shells. And with that ammunition, you will be able to take down Sadler. And the reason for that is because this game is so well balanced, and the way that they crafted the arena allows you to use the tools at your disposal to take them down effectively, which is amazing. And not many games are able to do that these days because, for whatever reasons, pressure on corporate to get the game out as soon as possible, to make money as soon as possible, pressure maybe from other people as well. But that's why people who separate from these corporate entities and make their own video game companies, such as Hideo Kojima for one of them, he was now able to make a beloved video game called Death Stranding, which I absolutely adore. And for people who recommend, or people who prefer, a game that is very chill, a game that is all about traveling and, uniting the world, I would highly recommend Death Stranding. It was absolutely wonderful and I enjoyed it, and a lot of people gave it crap because it was very boring. But it wasn't boring for me, and it may not be boring for you, so I highly recommend picking it up. So what you saw earlier, folks, is me organizing my inventory so I could pick up the final rocket launcher to kill Sadler. So what you're going to do here in the beginning is you're going to aim right to the left at his eye on his leg, and that will stun him with 1 shotgun blast. And it's a shotgun blast that is unupgraded, which is absolutely beautiful. So what I do here is I do a wide berth around him, and I shoot him in the eye yet again. And that will put him down and allow me to take out my magnum and shoot him straight in the eye. Just right in the eye, and that allows you to knife him yet again. Using the magnum to be able to damage Sadler right in the eye before you jump up on top of him is very useful. And it may speed up the fight faster. Because what you're trying to do here, folks, is you're trying to damage him enough so that way Ada can throw the rocket launcher to you. And that's exactly what we want. So I shoot him again, and I climb up on top of him, and rinse and repeat with the eye stab. This took me a good few attempts, folks, but you will be able to get a good pattern for yourself. Because those metal bars on the left of me just there, he uses those to throw at you. And the quick time is so freaking fast that you basically have to spam either square and X or L2 and R2 at the same time, and it's literally a split second. Which is kind of unfair, but it's really the only thing that's unfair about this fight, in my opinion. So yeah, you can use these metal bars to swing at him. I believe I go for the knife stab, but I try to get him with the shotgun, which his blades blocked it completely, so it was utterly useless, unfortunately. So I just go for the knife stab. And then there's a grenade to my right, which we can use to stun him. And again go in for another knife stab, which is beautiful. Again, this arena provides you with all the tools that you need. So I go for the shotgun blast to the eye, climb on top of him again, and boom. And don't get me wrong, Sadler is a tank. He will take a lot of damage, but you have all these tools to your disposal. So now what I'm going to do is, instead of waiting for him to go and pick up that metal rod, I run away from him so that way he throws it at me. So yeah, luckily I was able to dodge this then, because I believe if you go for the switch, you can still take damage if he throws that at you. But yeah, I wouldn't risk it to find out, folks, if you're doing a run like I am. So now I go in for the shotgun blast. This time I didn't miss, and then I climb right on top of him. Now I believe there's one more red barrel on the other side right now. So I go for that. And it's okay if you get this little QuickTime event here, guys, because what this will do is it will put Sadler in position. And there's the red barrel. There's no other little pillars for him to pick up. So you can go ahead and use that red barrel on him, and that will stun him. I go for the reload, I do another shotgun blast to the eye, and I run right on top of him. So I think there's one or two more times that I stun him. So yeah, I think he's gonna leap over right now. And what you need to be careful of is when he leaps, he will sometimes land right on top of you. See, like there, that was very close. And I didn't take any chances, so what I did is I ran across to get the QuickTime event to be cautious. So now I run over here, and I believe this is the last time I have to hit the eye. So I think when he gets damaged a lot, there will be less eyes to be able to shoot on his legs. And correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I seem to notice, because the eye on the left that was very easy to hit was no longer there. And there we go. Ada throws us the rocket launcher, more on-site procurement. So what I do is I look behind me, and he's right over the rocket launcher, of course. So now we have to kite him away from it. I run over to this platform, and I climb up here. And that makes it so that way he doesn't land on top of me. So there we go, that's exactly what we want. Now I'm panicking a little bit because the platform's not rising. And now we're able to pick up the rocket launcher, and I don't hesitate. I never tried it. I never tried this, folks, but I believe that if you just fire the rocket launcher in his general vicinity, it will trigger this cutscene. But I never tried firing the rocket launcher 180 degrees away from him. So, who knows? I would like to try that sometime, though. I might reload the save on stream and do it, just to see. But, I don't know. Someone will need to experiment with that and let me know in the comments section, because I'm interested to know if that doesn't work. Or if it does, and it just automatically triggers the cutscene despite not aiming at all at Sadler. But, there you have it, folks. That is the final boss, and now all we needed to do is escape with Ashley. And it's relatively simple. You just need to continue to press on the left analog while you're in the jet ski to be able to speed forward. Otherwise, the waves will catch up to you and you will die. And what you'll see coming up is another transition, and the reason for this is because I wanted to be able to do a flip with the jet ski, because I've never done that before, and I actually never knew that existed. And you can even do barrel rolls too on the jet ski, but I didn't know how to do that, and I didn't want to try, and instead I wanted to complete this run. So, all you'll see here, folks, is a backflip on my part. So I apologize if it's not to your liking. And there it is. That was so much fun. But yeah, that's all the tricks that you're going to see from me. The rest of the section here is going to be holding forward on the left analog to go as fast as you can, so that way the waves don't catch up to you. And then there's a couple sections here where the cave starts to fall, and memorizing where the cave falls is very useful. And that's it. And that is the Resident Evil 4 No Damage on Professional Difficulty OSP run. Thank you all for watching, and you take care now.